Good morning and welcome to Morning Java from here in Washington, home of the 1988-89 Patrick Division champions, if you can make that out over there.
Among some other champions, I think.
They have
Eastern
all
Conference
kinds of lame
97,
banners back there. Southeast Division champions, they've done that 7 times. Metro Division champions, President's Trophy. There's only one banner that's missing. And this game 1 really shows you why.
Yeah? How do they lose
How do you lose that game?
How do they lose it?
How do you lose that game Sunday?
I don't know. I thought that the Caps should have been up 3-0 in the first period.
They had the 2 empty nets that they missed.
I mean, there were a couple times Matt Murray might as well have been in a corner, and it's not necessarily entirely on him that the Caps got those chances, but they didn't capitalize. They didn't capitalize. The Caps figure that out. But they kept it close, and the Penguins scored 3 straight on 3 shifts. Was it not?
Again, it's just crazy. I'm not. We'll talk about the Penguins here, okay? But I mean, I sat down to type this column, and I'll have good stuff to say about the Penguins, but you can't lose that game.
No.
And so if you look at that from the Pittsburgh standpoint, and you say, okay, didn't have Malkin, didn't have Hagelin, had a 2-goal deficit. Washington's 2 most talented players. Everything goes right for Washington, and the Penguins still win. So now, doesn't it kind of feel like Sunday? I'm sure they don't want to approach it this way.
Must win.
For them,
For
but bonus round for Pittsburgh, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. For the Penguins, it's a bonus round. I heard the same things from the guys in the crowd, from the people in the crowd. People were furious. They're Malkin's out, Hagelin's out. These fans are aware of that. They knew that the Capitals had to win tonight because the Penguins are only going to get better.
Now you mentioned the crowd. Somebody who is employed by the visiting team happened to notice that there were 15 to 20 empty suites here. There were a lot of empty seats. A subscriber told me outside the building before the game that he was seeing prices on StubHub of $50. Don't get offended by this, but the reason this happens, in my view, is the Steelers versus Patriots syndrome, where you just say, we can't beat them. And it beats you up over the course of time.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, there were a lot of black and yellow jerseys in the crowd.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think that was going to happen either.
No, there were. I mean, they tried to keep the Penguins fans out of this place.
Yeah.
They wanted to keep them out, and they couldn't. And, every goal or every time that the Penguins started to fight back,
place erupted.
You hear "Let's Go Pens" chants, and then they're fighting back with little "Let's Go Caps."
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was like dueling fan bases. I don't know how so many Penguins fans ended up in here.
When Crosby scored and then the Gensel goal, especially the Gensel goal that made it 3-2, I heard from this side of the arena here, and I don't know if they just happened to have more fans on that side because it, sells last or whatever, it erupted.
Yeah.
This is a playoff game. This is a second-round playoff game after their team just had a really nice comeback, and their generation, meaning against Columbus, and their generational goal scorer has been outstanding from beginning to end of this season and was again in this game.
Yeah, he was good tonight.
What do you need to see?
He was physical. He scored. The crazy thing about the Penguins is this building was actually really alive for the Capitals right before Sidney Crosby scored. Yeah. And when Crosby scored, he screamed. I mean, his mouth.
It looked like he might have dropped some other.
Oh, well, he does that all the time, as we found out on HBO a couple of seasons ago. But,
yeah, that's right.
Seeing him celebrate like that is not something that I see frequently. He does it every once in a while, but
they see it. They do. Now, you didn't like Matt Murray's work early in this game.
No, we went back and forth a little bit on the live file.
A little bit on the live file, we did.
I think that he was good. I think that he was solid. But I said right away on the breakaway goal, obviously the team lets him down. You thought that maybe Brian Dumoulin was in the library across the street or something.
I ended up, that's one of the things about the live file is we'll put stuff on there, live. And then giving it further thought and sometimes talking to guys in the locker room, you realize that what really happened on that play was that Gensel failed to pick up Kuznetsov coming out of the zone. He absolutely should have when Dumoulin pinched. But back to Murray.
Yeah, I think it's okay for him to give up that first goal. The hardest thing about it is the building and the atmosphere and everything that goes along with it on the road in the playoffs. What I didn't like from him in the first period especially was that on the first saves that he was making, it seemed like he was a little bit out of control of his body. He was sliding out of the crease.
He sure didn't end that way.
No, he didn't. I mean,
man.
he really gathered himself through the end of the game. He was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Especially in the third period.
His east-west in this game, and remember, that's something that, is going to be talked about a lot through this series. I've written about it a lot before this series, how important it is because of Washington's east-west movement on the power play and all the one-timers they like to take. His east-west was not just dynamic, but economical. He didn't overextend. He didn't work too far past the crease. By the way, I thought Braden Holtby was really good in that regard, too.
Yeah, I mean, he was great.
Man, was he good.
First two periods. And, the thing about Murray is when he collected himself, he makes that blocker save. He gets
down here.
Yeah,
it was beautiful.
Right
the after the other shot.
In the third period, could have tied up the game. The Capitals fumbled the puck a few times with the empty net, as I mentioned there in the first segment. And I thought they could have been up 3-0. They didn't fumble the puck. I forget who shot it, but it wasn't the world's best shot. But Murray gets the blocker on it, all because, as you said, he was economical in his East-West game.
Yeah, outstanding work by Matt Murray. He was just so good. So the Penguins win this game on 3 goals in 4 minutes and 49 seconds.
A hat trick of sorts.
A natural hat trick of sorts, because since it was 3 in a row, and of course Jake Gensel was involved, so that makes it, kind of somewhat back-to-back. Look, the first line, we talked ever since the Malkin and Hagelin injuries were announced, that how the third line had to step up, the Brassard line, and they were good. We talked about how the second line with Shane and Kessel who really stepped up here.
And I really can't believe that we're saying that Jake Gensel played a better game.
Yeah.
But Jake Gensel played a better game. The whole first line played a great game.
Yeah, they were outstanding. I particularly liked, for one thing, start with the finishes. The touch that Hornqvist puts on his shot. I talked to Justin Schultz afterward, who, by the way, made eye contact with Hornqvist. And I said, were you going for him? And he goes, oh, yeah, like that. And I go, dude, that's always a good answer.
Yeah, you got to go with it, right?
It's like telling your kids your first hit in the bigs was a line drive to center when it was just some little, a little 3-bouncer to the hole in shortstop.
No, you want to be Jose Osuna, who, of course,
Jose Osuna
tripled for his first hit.
We digress back to hockey. Great play by Hornqvist. Really nice tip by Gensel.
Yeah, I mean, they were both great. They both happened right in front of me, but these are situations where I'm looking at Crosby in front of the net. It's like you see this guy score so many goals that are just out of this world.
Yeah,
you're just focused in on him, and I actually thought that Crosby scored the Gensel goal. He didn't. Jake did. Mm-hmm. And the Hornqvist one.
Part of the funny thing is, though, I don't mean to cut you off. The part of the funny thing about that goal was it looked so crappy live that I think it really let some of the air out of the place unduly. Do you know what I mean? Like they thought, really old Holtby? But then when it's not until you see the slow-mo replay of how really good of a deflection it was.
That was my first reaction because I saw Holtby grab his water bottle and just spray water straight up into the air, and he just makes this face where he's just staring towards his bench, and
this again,
you just felt like he had completely collapsed. It didn't look all that impressive, but as you said, it was when you look at the tape.
No question about it. The Penguins win this game 3-2, and maybe for game 2, which might be the bonus round for them, they'll have Evgeny Malkin back and, might not dig a hole like this.
No.